In this tutorial, we'll be going over how to make a charlotte cake. In the package, you'll find 6 bags of clay and a toothpick, which we will be using later to add details to our clay figure. You'll also need scissors for this kit, so grab it before we start. Before we begin, if this is your first time working with soft air dry clay, we highly recommend reading our Essential Clay Tips guide under this video to make the best out of your crafting experience. Alright, so to make the charlotte cake, we'll be making the base first, followed by the toppings, and then the ribbon that wraps around the cake. Starting with the base, we have to wrap 6 slabs of clay around a white cylinder shape. So first, take some white clay and roll it into a ball. Warm it up first by stretching it, because this helps to condition the clay and prep it for use. The amount of clay that you use here will determine the size of your cake, so for reference, mine is only about the size of a golf ball. So you don't want to use too much clay because bigger figures are harder to work with. To create a cylinder shape, roll the clay back and forth to create a log. Next, gently flatten the ends of the log. After you have your cylinder, grab 6 portions of the beige colored clay. You want to roll each piece into a log shape, and then you can use the edge of your palm to gently flatten the log into a slab, applying even pressure. Once you have the slabs, you want to make sure the length of the slab is slightly longer than the height of the cylinder, as you can see here. So you want to make about 6 of these, and depending on the size of your cylinder, you might have to adjust the number of slabs accordingly. Now that everything is all set, we want to wrap the slabs around the cylinder. We have to work very carefully here because soft air dry clay is sticky when it's wet, so if you make a mistake, it can be hard to take apart. If your clay is too sticky, you can wait a few minutes until the clay is slightly drier. This gives you more flexibility to manipulate the clay. Make sure that the clay is tightly secured around the cylinder, and this is going to be the base of our cake. Next, for the toppings, we have to make 2 strawberries, 3 blueberries, and a mint leaf. You can either make each topping one by one and add it to the cake right away, or make them all at once and arrange it later. I prefer making all the toppings first and then placing it on the cake after because it allows me to adjust the sizing if needed, and it's also easier to arrange the toppings when the clay is slightly drier. Okay, so starting with the strawberries, roll the clay into a ball, and then shape the tip of the clay with your fingers until you get a cone shape. You want to make 2 of these. Next, use the toothpick provided to add the seeds of the strawberries. Leave aside, and we'll be making the blueberries next. To make the blueberries, take some of the blue clay and form 3 little balls. Once you have the round balls, you want to take your toothpick and make 4 holes on top of the ball. When you put the toothpick in, you want to drag the toothpick slightly outwards to create the appearance of a blueberry crown. If you have difficulty making the blueberries without misshaping the clay, you can wait until the clay is slightly drier to poke the hole so that the clay is easier to handle. Leave aside while we move on to the next topping. The last topping is the mint leaf, and we can make it by taking a tiny bit of the green clay, roll it into a ball and flatten it. Pinch one of the sides to make a teardrop shape, and then use the toothpick to add the spine of the leaf. Make 2 and attach the center of the leaves together. Now gather all your toppings and we'll have to arrange them on the cake. Place the strawberries on the cake first, followed by the blueberries, and then the mint leaf. If your clay is not adhesive anymore because it's too dry, you can use some water to glue them together. If water doesn't do the trick, any type of glue will work too, including white glue. We're really close to being done now, we just have to add the ribbon around the cake. To make the ribbon, take some brown clay and roll it into a thin rope shape. Flatten the rope gently with the edge of your palm, making sure that it's even throughout. Use scissors to cut the ends off of the clay and wrap around the cake. Now to make the bow, we want to mold 2 triangle shapes and attach them together in the center. Next, take a small amount of clay and wrap it around the bow to secure it. Finally, we want to make 2 more triangle shapes and attach the pieces to the bottom of the bow, allowing them to hang down as ribbons. Attach the bow to the ribbon around the cake and you're all done. The cake will air dry at room temperature for about 2 days, after which will literally last forever as long as you don't get it wet. Hope you enjoyed making this with me today, and if you want to try more kits, head on over to our website and place your next order.